Hello YouTube. By now, I'll bet you know what time it is. It's time for another pencil case roundup, the Fall 2015 edition. This time I'm going to be doing it dangerously close to finals, which start next Monday for me. Anyway, let's do this in an old school style just because I don't have my tripod, so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. First up, we have the Pentel Graph Gear 500. This one is my old faithful. I've had this pencil for about 5 years now. I got it in 2010 summer in Germany, and it hasn't failed me. I dropped it once, I think in 2011, on the tip, but I bent it back, and it's just fine now. Solid mechanical pencil. This one has the lead hardness indicator. From what I understand, in the middle there, Target was selling them without the lead hardness indicator, but I think now that they're selling them with it, not sure. You'll have to enlighten me on that one. Next up, we have the Pilot S20. This is an awesome wooden mechanical pencil. As you can see, it's got Pilot stamped into the clip, which is attached in a very interesting way, and it's made in Japan, just like the Graph Gear 500. 4mm fixed sleeve for drafting purposes, and I got the cherry wood edition. You can get this in, I think, 2 different colors on Amazon. Next up, we got the Staedtler 925-2505. I prefer 0.5mm for most of my work, and this one does not disappoint. It's an aluminum body. It's available for about $13 right now. Knurled metal grip, 4mm fixed sleeve for drafting precision, and a lead hardness indicator right by the grip there, with the Staedtler logo neatly stamped in the clip, which is so reflective you can see my camera. Awesome pencil, and it's even got the lead diameter indicator right there on the cap. Now, the heavy beast of mechanical pencils, Rotring 600 in 0.5. This one shows dust and wear a lot more than the other pencils, which I was sort of disappointed about. Look at the grip. You can see the brass color showing through the paint, which kind of disappointed me a little bit, considering this one is the most expensive out of the mechanical pencils I have in general. Hexagonal body, which means it won't slip, like roll off your desk, but it's got a round section so you can hold it nicely. Again, a stamped clip and lead hardness indicator right there by the cap with the trademark red ring. There is a hole in the cap, just in case you were wondering if that affects your decision in any way. There's a nice hole right there. Oops, just touched the camera. Next up, the newest addition to my mechanical pencil collection is the Pentel Sharp P207. Believe it or not, I've never owned one of these before, and this one is in this awesome sort of shimmery, shiny, teal bluish metallic color that's amazing to look at. It's awesome. 4mm fixed sleeve once again for drafting purposes. This is the classic quintessential drafting pencil. Pentel stamped in the clip there, and Japan stamped it to the other side. Very nice pencil. Has the standard Pentel mechanical pencil drafting, I think it's the Z1 or something, eraser. So it's pretty small, precision work, but not for erasing swaths of your math homework after you realize you did it wrong. Next up, we have the Papermate Clearpoint in 0.5. I actually found this pencil. I personally don't like this pencil all that much, but I keep it just in case I find the person who lost it, because it's really kind of a really badly built pencil, badly designed, and there's 2 main problems with it. One is that this clip is extremely flimsy. Like, it's completely plastic, and it's only attached by this little post right here. Out of all the things I see fail on mechanical pencils, this clip I see break off more than any other. I mean, unintentionally. Of course, people break the clips off these cheap Bic pencils all the time, but that's just because they're annoyed by the clip. Also, the way that this attaches to the way that this eraser attaches to the pencil body is really stupid, because it works by a friction fit, but it works by this portion being stretched apart and then, you know, sort of coming back together around the clip section there, which means that this point breaks, cracks right along this edge, and once that happens, the eraser will come off and your pencil becomes pretty useless unless you tape the whole thing on, which makes it really difficult to change the lead. So apart from this twister eraser design, I think This pencil is pretty dumb. You can get a pencil by Pentel that does the twist erase thing with the twist erase 3, or you can get the Pentel Side FX, which actually has the twist eraser and the side clicker, both implemented in a much more durable design, and a rubber grip that looks better than this. It's like a triangular shape, the Side FX. Next up, we have the classic Bic pencil number 2. I found this one as well. I personally don't prefer pink. Maybe some other people do. I really don't. I'm not really a fan of this, but honestly, I use this for a borrower pencil. Most of the time, people will return it to me because they wouldn't be caught dead with a pink pencil, but that makes it great borrow fodder, I guess, because if I get rid of it, it's actually a benefit. So yeah, this is good for filling out Scantron forms too, because I'm not concerned about wasting the lead, because it came with like pretty much a full eraser when I found it, and a full tank of lead. So I don't understand why this clip is so worn out in that case. It's not like I found it on the sidewalk or something. It was just on the floor. Anyway, next up we have the wooden pencil. So here's the wooden pencils I carry around with me on a daily basis. This one is from India that I got like quite a few years ago, but only just started using them. The lead's pretty hard and very light, but that's kind of characteristic of Faber-Castell. Although I think this is like an Indian special Faber-Castell, because I've never seen it anywhere mentioned anywhere else. It's the Faber-Castell matte grip, super dark, and if you couldn't tell, that's a triangular body. Pretty interesting. Comfortable to hold, but a little light for my taste. Not the body, the writing. Ha. Okay, so next up we have two Mitsubishi 9800s, sorry, in B and F. I actually like the B version so much that I bought a whole box of them, and this is the first of that box. These individual 9800s I got in a bunch of different hardnesses. In fact, all the hardnesses that they have. I think 2B all the way down to H. I didn't go for 2H, if they have that one. But as you can see, I guess, the wood on the older ones that I got individually off Jet Pens is a darker sort of cedar, and that's not because of the graphite. The actual color of the wood is like a little bit darker brown. Whereas the one in the box that I got is a very light sort of wood, which is kind of weird to me. They both write extremely well, and the lead is the same. It's just that the wood is slightly different in appearance. And in fragrance, the older pencils smell better. And it's not that much older, it's just about a year or so. I don't know. Lead's centered decently. Not super great, but you know, it's usable. The wood comes up a little bit high on that F1 there, but other than that, I mean, they're decent pencils, and at 70 cents a pop off Jet Pens, you can't really go wrong. Now we're going to step it up a little bit with the Mitsubishi 9000s. These are $1 each on Jet Pens, and no, I did not buy a box of these. I have this in F, H, and HB. I have 2 of each, but I only carry around 1. And what's interesting is this imprint, made by elaborate process. Pretty great. Made by elaborate process. I'm sure it's an elaborate process to make pencils. On the top, it's just a finished end cap. So you can tell the lacquer quality is better than that of the 9800 that I just showed you, and the end is finished. So that 30 cents does go the distance. They also really write well. They're good performers. Next up, the Apsara Platinum. This is another pencil from India. Extra dark for good handwriting. So if I write with this pencil, it'll give me good handwriting. Now it may seem as though the finish on here is similar to the ones on the 9000s, but don't be fooled. This is a very thin paint, and it's nowhere near as quality feeling as the Mitsubishi's. However, it costs about 1/3 of the price when you import it. When you buy it in India, these things cost like 30 rupees a box, which is about 50 cents. So, and they come with a free pencil sharpener and a free eraser, which the eraser is actually pretty good, because these don't have erasers on the back. Anyway, it's quite good, it's quite dark, and it's not a bad pencil, it's just not in the same league as the Mitsubishis. Next up, we got a couple of nice Uni pencils made by the Mitsubishi Pencil Company. This one is the Uni 4B. the penmanship, and it's got a super huge core. This is to simulate a brush, apparently, according to the packaging, which I Google translated using my Android app. The lacquer quality is immaculate, and I mean, I've had this pencil for years now, like probably 1.5 years, and you can see the multiple layers of the lacquer. The black is wearing off to yield the maroon underneath and the gold. Yeah, overall really nice, and the end cap even has the lead hardness indicated on there too. Super high quality pencil and a joy to write with. The only problem is that because it's so soft you have to sharpen it a lot, and it smudges like crazy if you want to use it for class notes. So don't really use this for class notes, but for nice journal writing and you're only writing on one side of the page, definitely recommend. I mean, this is my favorite pencil to write with, but I just can't write with it that often. And isn't that the mark of a luxury item? Next up, we got a Mitsubishi Uni Pencil. This is the Uni 2B. I got this while it was on sale on Amazon for 12 bucks for a dozen of them, and honestly, it's like really good. The lacquer quality is a little bit thinner than the penmanship, but that's quite alright because the penmanship cost $5 for a 3-pack, whereas this one was only $1 each, so a little bit lower. The Mitsubishi High Uni is about twice the price of this one, at $2.35 for a single on jet pens. So if you don't really need the super high quality, then go for this. The end cap is just a normal end cap. And I've hand sharpened this one because the lead wasn't exactly greatly centered. I know that should be sort of unforgivable, but I got a whole box, so you know, there's plenty of chances to fix that for me. But I like hand sharpening, and I have a pretty sharp razor blade that I use, so I can get a lot of writing out of this without having to totally resharpen, unlike with the regularly sharpened pencils. Also, hand sharpening is therapeutic in a way. It's good, good time waster, stress buster, whatever you want to call it. Next up, we got the Ticonderogas. The bottom one I found, it's a normal number 2 HB Ticonderoga. You know, they're really hit or miss lately, just because different batches come from different places. As you can see here, the wood is not completely glued to the pencil, and so it's snapped off. But whatever, this is another sort of borrow fodder pencil. This one is in B though, extra soft, and it's not really extra soft in my opinion. It writes kind of light for what's considered a B. I would consider this more of an HB pencil, honestly, and it erases quite well. You know, it's a decent pencil overall. It's got a little bit of weight to it, and the core is a bit thicker than the normal Ticonderoga number 2 standard, whatever, throw it right when the eraser goes sort of thing. As you can see, yeah, so probably somebody just used up the eraser on this pencil, said okay, goodbye, and pitched it out of their backpack onto the ground. So there you go. And next up, we have a pencil which I have like 70 of. It's the Papermate Morado Classic in HB. The only problem I have with this pencil, well, the biggest problem I have with it, is that the eraser doesn't really work on the pencil, so I don't use this when I'm going to get frustrated by its non-erasability. It erases really poorly with a Staedtler Mars plastic too, so I don't know what gives. What gives, Papermate? Why does your pencil not erase well? I don't know, they're probably not going to answer me because they're a giant conglomerate now anyway, but aren't we all? Here you could see the ferrule has sort of eaten the paint off there. Actually, the wood had splintered around it, and I pushed that wood off, and in doing so, chipped off the paint as well. So, yeah, nice quality control, Papermate. You're really as good as you used to be. Next up, we're going to look at the few fountain pens that I carry around. I don't really carry around fountain pens all that much just because I've been using pencils more lately, but one of the fountain pens that I got that's like really cool is the Pokemon fountain pen. I actually got this on eBay after seeing a post about it on the Fountain Pen Network Facebook group. It's listed on eBay as 5X Pac-Man fountain pens, and they ship directly from India, so you can tell that they're super legit and high quality. But anyway, yeah, I mean, overall, it looks pretty official if you don't look too closely. I mean, the finish is quite cheap and it says Fellowship on the clip for some reason. But, you know, you can tell that's Ash, you know, it's got Pikachu with a weirdly curved ear there, but hey, it's Pokemon, you know, it's got the logo and everything. Not too bad. not too bad at $18 for 5 pens, free shipping. You can't beat it. And it's even got a threaded cap. So let's take that off and show you what the nib looks like. Now, given that this is an Indian pen and it's an Indian school pen, it's pretty expected that it's going to be an eyedropper fill pen. So, I got an eyedropper from home and I filled it up. It says Fellowship on the nib too there. Pretty fine writer, and it even had silicone grease on the threads on the inside, so it's not going to leak on me. And it's shipped with that grease, so, you know, it's not all bad. It's actually quite okay. And it writes all right too, so honestly, if you're interested in that, search Pokman, Pokman fountain pen on eBay and you'll find it. Next up, we got the old friend here, the Pilot Metropolitan. Solid performer. I still got it inked up with Noodler's Black, and you can still see that ink all over the nib because it creeps like crazy. Yep, definitely my #1 most recommended beginner's fountain pen, and you can't go wrong with it. I have the medium one because I bought it before the fine nib one was even available. Nowadays you can get it in fine and medium. And it's available on Amazon. It's like 15 bucks or something. I think you can get it for cheaper too sometimes. And here we have one of my first fountain pens, the Alami Vista. I got this in 2010 around the same time I got that Pentel Graph Gear 500. I have this one inked up with Diamine Oxblood. It's an awesome ink that dries sort of like dark reddish brown, kind of like dried blood, you know. Really, really neat pen. Really, really neat ink, and durable pen. I really like it. One thing that may divide people is the triangular grip section there. It's not ideal for everybody, but maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. This is the medium nib, and the main issue with the medium nib is that it's really not a medium. It's more like a broad, and that definitely shows with age, because it sort of like flattens out over time. I don't know, maybe that's just the way I write, but it's really, really broad, so definitely take Lami's nib sizing with a grain of salt there, and add like a size every time. Lami's extra fine will be like a fine, fine's like a medium, Lami medium is like a broad. Oh yeah, so this is what the ink looks like. It gets on my fingers. Yeah, it looks like I got a bruise, right? Except that who gets a bruise right in the middle of their finger like that? And a linear one at that. Okay, next let's look at the gel pens that I have, that I carry at least. This is the Uni Signal 207, Uniball Signal 207 BLX, and this is the purple black one. Now, this purple black is really like a sort of really deep, dark purple. So it's black infused with purple, that's what they say, and that's what the body sort of indicates there. Really, really nice pen. I love writing in purple. I actually have purple ink, Waterman purple, inked up in the Pokemon fountain pen. But if you want some more subtlety, definitely go for this pen. I got this in a 4-pack at Walmart. Definitely a decent price, and worth picking up. It has blue black, red black, green black, and purple black, and honestly purple black is my favorite, probably followed by green black. The red black is more of a red, and the blue black is kind of crappy in my opinion, but hey, the purple black is where it's at. It's worth the price. Next up we have an interesting pen. This is the Uni Signal 307. Now, from my understanding, this one's pretty new. It's got this carbon fiber look, and see this matte finish on the tip there? It's supposed to write on glossy paper. Now, I tried it on glossy paper. It's okay. It still takes a really long time to dry, but once it dries, I don't think it should smear. And it's, you know, theft proof, check whatever ink, so you can write checks with it. It's like bleach proof, and it dries matte. So other gel pens that are black, for example the Pilot G2s, they dry sort of glossy, but this one dries matte, which is quite interesting because, yeah, I mean, well, it's interesting because most gel pens don't, and on regular copy paper it dries really quickly. So I can see that they used a different formulation in this from the regular 207. Whether their claim of it writing on glossy paper should be taken without a grain of salt is up to the individual user, but at the price point that it's at, I got it for I think $2.99 for a 2-pack, which is pretty good, you know, but it was on sale at Walgreens, so, you know, your mileage may vary on the price, but it's definitely a worthwhile pen to pick up if you're interested in gel pens. Next up we have a couple of Pilot G2s. I actually found both of these. For some reason this seems to be the most commonly pitched sort of decent pen. This one's the .38 on the top and the 1.0 millimeter nib on the bottom. Ironically, the one with the thinner diameter has less ink in it than the one with the larger diameter, because this one drinks ink and this one doesn't use ink at all. I filled a whole legal pad with this pen when I was writing a research paper, and it like barely went down halfway, whereas this, I barely got through an entire class without it like running out of ink. Now, like, that was a half semester class, but hey. And as you can see, this one I found it on a parking lot, so it's got some battle scars, as does this one. I hope those aren't bite marks. Anyway, next up we have the classic borrower pens. This is the Big Crystal. It's a pretty good pen, actually. This one writes really smoothly. I really like it as far as ballpoint pens go. It's pretty good. Writes well. And the Papermate Inkjoy 100 in medium. And this one writes pretty smoothly too, so overall not complaining. And this one has a triangular grip. Next up, Sharpie Industrial Sharpie. Now that's kind of a sort of fake name, because even though they say it's super permanent, I've still had it rub off glass and off plastic things, so don't use this if you're really trying to be super permanent. Use something else. Use like a grease marker. It's better than this sort of thing. But given that this one is really worn out, I just use it for marking up things, and don't worry, I use it for wood and like marking things in the shop whenever I have to build something for one of my classes or for a project. Next up we have the Pentel Click Eraser Grip ZE22. This one's in metallic purple. I really like this finish. Looks cool. Haven't used it all that much, but yeah, it's a good eraser. I have no complaints there. I've been using this one for years, this model of eraser. And next we have the non-pencils and non-erasers and non-writing instruments. This one is a Mitsubishi ruler that I got. It's the 150, no, 182, 105, sorry. Reading it upside down and messing up. This is a 6-inch rule that measures in 30 seconds and 64ths of an inch on one side, and half millimeters and full millimeters on the other. As you can see, the inches go, I guess the measurement starts right at the end there. So you can just jam this right up against a part and measure, and it'll be exact and accurate. It's pretty thick. I'd say this is probably like, I don't know, it's probably 1/8 of an inch thick, or maybe a millimeter and a half. Stainless steel, solid stuff, really, really nice. Mainly I use it for drawing lines, but it's also good for measuring, and it's extremely precise instrument, if I haven't said that word about 5 times already. It's available on Amazon. It's like $12, which is honestly not a bad deal considering the precision of this precise measuring precision instrument. Yeah, thanks for humoring me there. It comes with a nice little red sheath as well, which is pretty complicated to operate with one hand, so I'm just going to leave it on the side there. Okay, next up we got the erasers. Here we've got some Nadraj 621 erasers. These are really cool. They're actually fluorescent colors that probably won't show up in the camera very well. It doesn't show up on my screen very well. But this one's like a highlighter yellow, which is what I've been using. These are actually packaged in 2002, so quite a while ago, but I just started using them. This is like highlighter yellow, highlighter orange, and highlighter green. Really nice. And they erase really, really well. These are from India, by the way. They got them from a supermarket in a 5-pack, but I only took 3 of them with me. This one is the Staedtler Mars plastic. I cut off the wrapper so that it stays sort of nice. Otherwise it gets really all raggedy when this starts compressing on the ends. You know how it goes. So I just cut it with my Swiss Army knife. And I really like this eraser. It's an old classic. It's a standard, a standby, you know, old reliable, German quality, German engineering. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with these vinyl erasers. A lot of people I know are partial to the Pentel high polymer ZEH series. So the ZEH 10 is the big one, and the ZEH 05 is the small one. But I prefer the Staedtler Mars plastic myself. Next up, Swiss Army knife SD. Pretty small knife. I use it for cutting packages, cutting spare threads, and sharpening pencils. Here we have a tap knife. This is a standard razor blade tap knife. You call it a tap knife because you can tap it on the table and the razor blade is there. I use this for sharpening that Uni 2B that I showed you earlier, and then to close it you could just tap it again. This is actually not very secure, so don't carry this in your pocket, you'll cut yourself. Carry it in a case, just in case. Here we have a couple of sharpeners. This is the Alvin Brass Bullet. Had this one for 5 years. Got this one in Germany in 2010 as well, and it's really good. Hasn't let me down ever. And next up we got the Upsara Long Point Sharpener. This one came free with that Upsara Platinum pencil I showed you earlier. This one actually sharpens really well. I've sharpened this pencil with it actually, and it does produce a long point. So if you use mechanical sharpeners, like I guess mechanical hand crank or electrical sharpeners, then definitely use a long point sharpener like this when you hand sharpen, just so that you don't waste lead when you sharpen again, because short points waste lead if you convert down from a long point. So definitely don't do that. And looks like I got a spare bit of wood there. Next up we have some lead. Nothing really too special. I use Pentel lead. This one came with the Pentel Sharp pencil I showed you earlier. These two I've had for probably years. I never run out of lead for some reason, because I keep on finding them like this. I don't understand why people just pitch their lead. And there's a fair bit of it in here. Like, do you just drop it on the ground and like forget about it? You know, like, jeez. For goodness sake. Take care of your lead, people. Each one of these is like a regular wooden pencil, according to Bic, I guess. Anyway, there you have it. That's what I carry in my pencil case, which, by the way, is this Nomadic PE08, just in case you're wondering. Really awesome pencil case. Yeah, I keep all the leads facing one way, so one side is like pristine and the other side is black with graphite. This is like an accordion style, so it really expands to hold like probably twice as much as I have here. It's got multiple pockets, so you can keep your valuable ones protected and scratch free, whereas the sort of cheaper pencils or the durable ones can go in the main pocket. These pockets aren't really super useful if you cram it like I do. I still got the original silica gel in there for collector's value, and I keep the sharpeners in this pocket for cleanliness sake, so that I don't get graphite all over the inside. This orange color really shows sort of grime over the years. I've had this this is my second year having it, so it really does show the dirt, but hey, you do what you gotta do to have a distinctive style, right? Anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of Best of the Pencil Case. This has been Super V Power, reporting with another pencil video. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, definitely be sure to leave a like, a comment, or maybe even a subscription down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Till then.